Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a pretty simple one, but it's going to give you tips and tricks of the game. So that way you have an idea of what maybe you should be looking out for and what's the best thing maybe to scrap. So that way you get the most material for the cheapest amount of money. To begin, we're going to be talking about scrapping and what vendors sell, and we're going to go from there. So, to begin, a lot of people are in need of synthetic scrap and metal scrap. Metal scrap's used for making lockpicks, synthetic scrap's made for making backpacks and various other items, two very common materials that you're going to need. One item that you actually can buy from level 1 United Allies. So you have to have level 1 United Allies by doing your daily contracts. You can actually get the M1A1 Para, which is this one right here. This gun actually scraps for 50% chance for metal scrap and 50% chance for synthetic scrap. And if I remember correctly, it costs just above 3,000. I think it's about 3,000 or so. So when you scrap it, I just got two metal scrap, but no junk scrap. So this is a good one for getting synthetic and metal scrap. Also, if you are in need of just metal scrap, you can level up your United Allies to level 4, and you actually can get the 1911 stamps. The 1911 stamps have a 70% chance for metal scrap and 30% chance for junk, so it's actually one of the highest items in the game to get metal scrap. Unfortunately, you still get a chance of getting junk, but you do have that very high chance for metal scrap. The M2 flak vest is one of the best ways to get synthetic scrap. As you can see right here, 75% chance for synthetic scrap and 25% chance for junk scrap. I know some people are going to be like, why aren't you just buying the M1 flak vest? It has the same values, and the M1 flak vest is cheaper. But the M2 flak vest actually gives you 2 guaranteed versus 1. The M1 only gives you 1 scrap, whether it's junk or synthetic, while the M2 gives you 2 synthetic, or 1 synthetic and 1 junk, or possibly 2 junk, as you can see. So it's actually one of the best values for getting synthetic scrap. Now, there is a little cheap way when you start leveling up your vendors to actually make free money currently from the vendors, which I'm sure is going to get patched. But while it's available, I want everyone to know how it works. At Central Empire level 8, you actually unlock the MG42. And I know this is endgame. Not many people are going to be at this point, but just be aware if you do get to this point. At level 8 for the MG42, so the MG42 costs $12,682, and it comes with 50 rounds of 7.62 ammo in it. And the firearm actually sells for $9,456, and the ammo sells for $3,910, which is actually a net positive of $600 if you actually just sell this and the ammo each time. If you pay attention on money, I'm at 467,850. So let's just do 7,850. I'm gonna buy this, and then I'm gonna sell it. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. 8,534, 8,534. Almost, I went up over 600 right there. So I'm positive every time I just keep buying and selling this. As well as maybe you don't want to sell the ammo. You want to keep the ammo. Well, you just got 50 rounds for just less than $4,000, and it's cheaper once you level up the vendor even farther. So it's a cheap way to get 7.62 ammo. Now, unfortunately, for 54R ammo down here, there's no cheap way out of it besides crafting it or buying it right here. Because the SVT costs $4,542, and this is how much it sells for, as you can see, 3,387. But it only comes with 10 rounds, which is less than 1,000. Okay, so if you want to end up doing the math, you get 10 rounds, you get 20 in this stack. It just ends up being a very little minuscule difference that it's just not even worth your time doing this. When you hit level 10 Central Empire, yes, it will be cheaper to do it this way, but the amount of money you're saving, it's not worth your time. Eventually, when you get your Kingdom Alliance leveled up to level 7, you unlock the Bren. Correction, I apologize. Yes, no, you do. At level 7 Kingdom Alliance, you actually unlock the Bren and 7.62 ammo, and the Bren's in the same similar position. You can buy the Bren for cheaper, unload the ammo, and actually sell it back for positive. So, while it's available, go ahead and use it for an easy way to make money. Once you have your vendors leveled up, you probably don't need money at that point that you're at the vendors, but if you prestige, there's a quick way to make money really quickly. Or get cheap ammo because you want that high caliber ammo and you don't want to pay too much for it. You can always just unload the gun, sell back the gun, and keep the ammo. Many people go into raids without heals. They don't, I apologize. They don't have lots of bandages like this because they don't have them available in the trader, or they don't have a lot of synthetic scrap. Well, I just taught you how to get a lot of synthetic scrap. It's not too expensive once you figure out how to make money. So that's one way that you can make bandages if you wanted to craft them if you don't have them available in the vendor. Well, if you don't have bandages available and you don't have much money, you can actually buy food like chocolate bars or food cans. Just bring in 6 to 8 of them. Particularly food cans, they're 10% HP. You have 6 to 8 of them, it's almost 100% heal at that point, between 60% and 80% of your HP on you, depending how many food cans you have, as well as your stand bar gets controlled back to you because it takes away that fatigue bar, the white bar on your stamina. So that's how you should always have some food cans on you, or chocolate bars, or something like that if you don't have bandages. That way you can heal. They're very cheap. Now, if you do have Kingdom Alliance to level 3, or if you don't, you should get it there as quickly as you can when dailies are available. Focus on those Kingdom Alliance because they actually unlocks bandages. And once you can buy bandages, you will have these containers like I do filled with these. Every raid you can go in with bandages and never have to worry about having not enough heals on you. And if I remember correctly, I think it's $306 each bandage once you unlock them, and they get cheaper as you level up. I think at this point I'm paying $270, so it gets cheaper the more you level them up. So make sure you're focusing those daily contracts. Now, when you hit level 10 for United Allies and Kingdom Alliance, you actually unlock small first aid kits. These right here. These small first aids, they actually sell them. Like I said, United Allies and Kingdom Alliance, you need to be level 10, and you can actually start buying small first aids. And for Central Empire, which is Captain Wolf right here, you need to be level 11. And once level 11, you actually can buy these from him as well. The small first aids, which is just end game. These are the meds that you're going to want: bandages, small meds, and large meds. But you can never buy large meds. You actually have to find those. Now, many people, when they start getting towards the end game, they need reinforced metal for making the best helmets, ships, all kind of things. Reinforced metals is like one of the rare materials that you need lots of eventually. Well, one way to easily get it at the moment is Panzer armor. Once you unlock it, I believe it was level 6 for Central Empire. So once you unlock it, you actually can scrap it and get reinforced metal. 40% chance. And you actually have a chance of getting more than just one. You see, I just got 2. I've actually gotten lucky and gotten 3 metal scrap from it. So that potential's there. All right. Now, another thing for 0 to hero missions, a lot of people are looking for trench guns, heavy Thompsons, heavy MGs, and the chance to find them in raid is low, but the chance is there. Well, there is a way around it. And actually, that's going to be leveling up your pirates to level 8 through doing your 0 to hero quest line. You get these pirates to level 8. You actually can buy these supply drops from them. These supply drops are a mixture of United Allies, Kingdom Alliance, as well as Central Empire. All three of them have supply drops in the game. This supply drop the pirate sells is a combination of all of them. So the chance is lower than the regular supply drop, but you have a chance to actually pull all these weapons from there. They do cost a lot. I think it's like 22 or 24,000. So you have to gamble a lot of money, but you can get your trench gun from it. You can get your heavy Thompson, and you can get your heavy MGs that you need from these. Another thing that's been asked many times throughout the Discord, throughout streams that I've gone into, people need nuclear material. Nuclear material is used for two things in this game. It's used for the nuclear launcher, which is right here. And you need one for a 0 to hero quest. So, to find nuclear material, you need to check hidden stashes. And if you don't know where the hidden stashes are on all the maps, if you just check out my channel, I have a YouTube video showing you the location of every single one of them. And they have a decent chance of dropping nuclear material. So make sure you're checking them every time you're in a raid, as well as the depots. There's a depot in Terraformer, Spaceport, and the Iridium Mine. To get into the depots, you need to find tokens that are allocated on the map that you go to. And you need to check the static spawn bodies, whether it's a blue body or an orange body. By static spawn, I mean the ones that are already dead. No one killed them. They just, when you open up their inventory, it shows only a 3x3 area. A token can spawn in them, and that token allows you to get into those depots. And the depots have the highest chance of nuclear material. So that's the best way to find it. But if you can't find them, make sure you're checking those hidden stashes. So, fabric. Many people like wearing these rigs I'm about to show you, which is these plate rigs. You got to be level 15. I'll unlock it. And they need fabric. Fabric's like another material everyone wants because they want to keep making these level 8 plate rigs that have 12 extra slots in them. It's a very good armor to have. Fabric is not easy to get unless you actually go into raid. There's nothing you can really scrap for it besides the level 8 Alton helm. That green Alton helm scraps and has a chance to give you fabric. There's nothing else in this game that has a chance to give you fabric. So, if you're looking for fabric for these plate rigs or for anything else that requires fabric, like the commando backpack, I'm pretty sure requires it, you need to be checking trash cans, cardboard boxes, and trash bags. You need to check all three of those. They have high chances of fabric, and make sure you check them because I've gone into raids after other players went in, and I've walked out with a full stack of 5, no problem. It's not, they're there. Just make sure you're checking those three: trash cans, trash bags, and cardboard boxes. There's a chance for fabric in them. Make sure you're checking them. Another thing many people need is metal sheets. Right here. Metal sheets is for a 0 to hero quest. You need them a lot for crafting certain items, like for making the Uzi suppressor. And maybe you don't want to go and raid and get them. Well, what you can do is scrap a particular item. And the light stall helm right here has a 30% chance to give you metal sheets. And this stall helm, as you can see, there's a chance, and I wasn't lucky enough to show you, but I didn't get it, but their chance is there. So if you're looking for metal sheets, you can do it that way. You can just keep buying those light stall helms and just keep scrapping them, and you have a chance to get some metal sheets from it. You also could end up getting the M1 helmet. I'm not going to unlock it, but the M1 helmets are found on the elite scavs. If you've ever been, or I should say AI, if you've ever been inside any of the POIs, the raids, you would see these elite scavs, whether they have sometimes SVTs or they have the Liberator shotguns. Those are the elite AIs in the game. They're more hardcore. They more likely to kill you than the other ones. They have these M1 helmets, and those M1 helmets actually scrap for a 70% chance for metal scrap. It's one of the best items to scrap for metal. Lastly, for the most tips that I'm trying to give you right now, is showing you that certain weapons actually have firing modes. Unfortunately, I don't have a weapon currently on me to show you it, but for instance, the Mauser, I think it's the M712 Mauser. It's a pistol that you can get with the extended mag in stock pretty early on. I think it's like level 0. You can buy all those mods. That pistol actually goes full auto. You can put it, if you click X, by default it's X. I don't know if you can change the keybind. You probably can. But if you click X, it actually switches it to full auto. And now you have a full auto pistol. Many games in this, I just said many games, I apologize. Many guns in this game actually have different firing modes. For instance, you have the Mauser, the M16, and the MAC-10. I can't remember any of the other ones off the top of my head, but the Mauser goes from semi-auto to full auto. The M16 goes from single fire to burst, and the MAC-10 goes from semi-auto to full auto. So just make sure, if you look at the bottom right of your screen when you're in raid and you see your health bar, when you have a weapon out, it actually will say it at the bottom right there, single fire or full auto. If you see that, that means it has different firing modes. So just click X and you can actually change it. Now, that's going to complete my tips of like going over the vendors, what you can scrap for what, stuff like that. We're now going to go into what kind of material or junk, if that's what you want to call it, should you collect when you're in raid. So to begin, some of the most valuable items that you should be picking up in raid, because you can't scrap for them from the traders, it's just harder to find. These are going to be these items. And when I say you can't scrap from the traders, I'm talking about like a lot of items that I was talking about: metal scrap, synthetic scrap, this reinforced metal, even junk. You can buy these items from the vendors, pay money, and just scrap it and go in and just get the material without even going into raid. But these items you actually need to go into raid for. To begin, toolkits. Let's see where I can show you this. Toolkits right here. Toolkits are used for making containers and ships. Some of these ships, they require toolkits in order to craft them. And just toolkits are a very valuable item, so make sure you're collecting them. It's something you can't scrap for, so if you find it, make sure you keep at least three or six. Keep 2 full stacks on you. That way you can always just use them whenever you need it. That would be, they're in stacks of 3, so try to keep 6 of them. Another thing I did show you for the Panzer was the reinforced metal, but maybe you're not able to buy Panzer because it is something that requires a lot of levels for your vendor in order to get. Reinforced metal, if you find it, it is a very valuable material. It's used for ships attachments, like all these turrets. You need it for your best helmet in the game, which is this M5 helmet. And you need it for your large containers. You don't need it for small, but your large requires you to have 2 of them, I'm pretty positive. And some of these weapons in here end up requiring reinforced metal. I think it was the bar, if I remember correctly. Another valuable material is high grade gunpowder. This stuff right here. High grade gunpowder is used for some weapons to make them, some turrets, and ammo. All these ammos right here require you to have high grade gunpowder if you want to craft it instead of paying for it. Fabric, as I was discussing before previously, fabric is used for armor and backpacks, being the plate rig and the commando backpack. So make sure when you're collecting it, keep it, because you are going to fly through fabric when you actually start using the top more of the top tier gear. These commando backpacks, if you want them, a lot of people don't craft them. I don't think it's really worth it. But for those plate rigs, it's certainly worth it. So make sure you're collecting fabric so you can keep crafting these, because you're going to want these. Another thing is leather strips. Right here. Leather strips are used for crafting this armor right here. Your plate rigs, as well as your leather jerkins and your M1 flak vest. All which have pockets on them for additional space, which is what the leather strips are used for. So leather strips are only found in raid. You cannot buy anything from a trader to get leather strips. Well, that's not completely true. Over time, you actually can unlock the leather jerkin from the trader and actually buy them and scrap them for leather strips. But it's not very productive, and leather strips are actually very simple to find, because when you go into raid and you kill AI, a lot of them have this leather helmet on, and that leather helmet is almost a guaranteed chance you're getting leather strips from it. So make sure you're collecting the leather helmets, or you're checking trash bags, trash cans, or cardboard boxes, because they can have leather strips in them. But if you don't want to collect it and you rather just do the trade, eventually one of the traders, I believe it's the pirates, and it's early level. I think it's like level 1, maybe even level 2 for pirates. You can just buy these leather jerkins and just keep scrapping them, and you'll get more than enough of these leather strips. But if not, you can always collect them in raid. Just keep your eye out for them. Another item is going to be the low grade gunpowder, also known just as gunpowder. And the reason you want that is because it's made for crafting the low tier ships, as well as some lower tier weapons. And you can actually use it to make this high grade gunpowder. So basically, you're going to use it to get the higher tier things and just make it into high grade gunpowder. If you want to keep making ships, you're going to need fuel bottles. Fuel bottles, you just end up needing them to make almost any of these ships, as well as when you unlock the blowtorch from doing 0 to hero, it requires one. So just make sure you're keeping your eye out for fuel bottles, especially if you're the person that wants to make blowtorches eventually when you unlock it, or if you want to make ships. If you don't want to make ships and you're not worried about blowtorches, then don't even pick them up. They have no use otherwise. Another item to keep your eyes out and look for is going to be the large cables. Large cables are used for just high tier ships. And by high tier, I'm just talking about, I'm pretty sure it's the Interceptor, the Heavy Frigate, and the Capital Frigate. These ones require large cables, so if you plan on making the higher tier ships and you just want to bring them in to have some fun, make sure you're collecting your large cables. Finally, the last thing that I think you should be keeping your eye out for is going to be for disinfectant. Disinfectant is only used for one item in the game, and it's the small first aid. You need synthetic scrap, which you now know how to get easily, and you get disinfectant because you're going to find it when you're checking medical bags. And you just pick it up, and there you go. You got a small first aid. Really easy to make. So just make sure you're collecting them so that way you can keep these higher meds. Even though you're getting bandages cheap, small first aids are really good when you're in a tight situation. You just got done killing someone, and now you need to heal up before this next person hits you. Small first aid is going to be way better than this bandage. Some people need junk, and you need 3 of them for your first 0 to hero quest. as well as you need some for your sack bag, and I believe you also end up needing one for the clobber, for the clob, the VS clob. There might be some other items that I'm missing that need junk, but junk's very easy to get. As you can see, mostly everything I showed you that I scrapped would give me some kind of junk percentage. But the best way to get junk is actually going to be going on your rust bucket, gathering fire extinguishers, taking them out, and then scrapping them. If I remember correctly, it's an 85% chance to get junk. So it's pretty much guaranteed at that point that you're getting junk from the fire extinguishers. So just gather up all 4 fire extinguishers with one of your backpacks, as well as make sure you don't have any main or secondary weapon. You can get all 4 of them out with just a sack backpack. And there you go. You got your junk scrap instantly for your first quest, or if you need to craft something. If you don't want to go in raid and do it, and you just rather craft something because you need it before you go into raid, you can buy the combat knives from one of the traders, and there's a 70% chance that you get junk scrap from it. So it's another high chance. It costs a little money, but you got both options. So I did leave out many items, which I'm sure many people are like, well, you're not talking about metal sheets, synthetic scrap, metal scrap, and all these other items that are in the game. And the reason why is you can purchase all these from these vendors like I talked about. You can literally just buy this M2 flak vest and just scrap it. And you got synthetic scrap. So why waste slots in game for these items when you can just buy it from the vendor and just scrap it? You might as well use that slot for making money, or for more valuable items that you need. Just grab some money. You could just get a full stack of copper coins in raid, or just even half a stack, come out, and you could buy, 3 of these vests or 4 of these vests with like half a stack of copper coins. And you can get more synthetic scrap than you're going to find in raid. So it's not worth it. It's just not worth your time picking it up when you could use that slot for something else. Another thing in game that a lot of people asked about is chemicals. Chemicals are actually have a use, but it's not currently in the game anymore. Hopefully in this update that's coming out in November, they bring them back, but they might not yet. Chemicals were used for making flashbangs and smoke grenades. And that's what they were used for. Currently, chemicals have no use in game because those 2 items aren't available. You would end up collecting chemicals so you could craft them. Craft a smoke grenade, craft a flashbang. But because they're not in game, there is literally no point to collect it unless you're looking for some cash to sell. So don't hoard them. Just don't even pick them up unless you have an extra slot for making money. It's just not worth your time until they actually release them. Now, that's going to end up completing what junk or material you should be collecting. Those are all the best materials you should be collecting. I might have missed some, but those are the most important if you're actually going to be a person that crafts stuff.